Good evening and welcome to, I felt like I was doing Songs of Praise then. Good evening and welcome to Songs of Praise. No, this is not Songs of Praise. Today's song is Magic Money Tree. So thank you for joining us. We have a couple of guests on tonight. We've got James Warren, who's here live in the studio with us. And we've got Chris Hopkins, who's live in Liverpool, but he's going to be joining us by Skype because that's what he does. As you've joined us here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Smash.
That was easy.
The subscribe button, and that's easy for me to say. Join us wherever you like on the Korgis.com, on our Facebook page, on the Instagram page, all that kind of jazz. In the meantime, let's spin the record. Here we go.
bells were tongue tossed, and in that moment, I realized that I was lost. Magic money tree with
Well, there we are. We're back. We're back. And I think without further ado, we should welcome one of today's special guests, Mr. James Warren. Applause, please. Applause, please. Hang on. Hey, there we are.
Hello, hello. I'm here with my multicoloured jacket.
He won't go on the camera unless he gets that applause. That was part of the contract.
Hello.
We're a stickler for the contracts. So
Yeah.
here we are.
Here we are again.
Here we are again in Caerphilly.
Live streaming.
Live streaming indeed. So as everyone knows, after smashing the subscribe button on YouTube, which is just down the bottom of the screen apparently, and after signing up to our Facebook page, our Instagram page, Twitter account, we don't do TikTok. We're far too old to do TikTok.
But I am preparing a little dance. So very soon I will be on TikTok.
We're going to call this the TikTok dance.
Oh, yeah,
The TikTok
yeah.
dance. I will look forward to seeing that in a slightly later episode, but he's just working, he's perfecting it.
Yeah, I am.
Perfecting it. James, come a tiny bit closer to
I
that
will.
mic. Just a tiny bit closer
Yeah.
to the mic.
There we are.
There we are. Lovely. Okay, so as always, we have prizes galore.
Oh, we
Prizes galore.
certainly do.
Sometimes people even win them as well, and sometimes they don't. So it must be said, I think for the third week, we are trying to give away a Cartoon World T-shirt. We are, because the first week we tried to give away the Cartoon World T-shirt, it was an impossible question about a David Bowie song, and we probably had every David Bowie song ever been written listed other than the one that we wanted. And so we couldn't give it away that week. And then last week, the winner of the competition, who should have had the Cartoon World T-shirt, was Ingo from Germany, and he'd already bought the box set, so he already had a Cartoon World T-shirt. So we sent him a 40 Years of the Korgis T-shirt instead. So he's very happy. And Ingo, if you're watching now, it went in the post this morning. So a couple of days should be with you, I reckon.
Couple of days.
Should be
Couple
with
of
you.
days.
That'll be good. So today's competition, because the song we're talking about is Magic Money Tree, it seems only fitting that we should have a competition that has something to do with Magic Money Tree.
I think so.
Yeah. It's a non-political Magic Money Tree. But here we are. I'm going to just make that a bit bigger. In the lyrics for Magic Money Tree, where was James Warren's fortune hidden? James, you want to read that again?
I'd love to read it again.
I thought you would.
Here's the question. In the lyrics for Magic Money Tree, where was James Warren's fortune hidden?
And there it was, gone.
Gone. Yeah.
So yeah, we reckon that's an easy one, don't you?
I think so.
I mean, sometimes you even get those lyrics right, don't you?
I
When we
do.
it right. You do
I have been
sometimes.
known to get them right sometimes.
Sometimes
yeah.
do that.
I think we're going to have a winner tonight. Yeah.
I think we're going to have a winner. I hope so anyway. So I'll just see where are we? Yeah, well, the first person with the correct answer wins. So it's not like, if 40 people get the answer right, we don't give away 40 T-shirts, do we? We are not made of money.
Because we've only got 39. So
39,
we
exactly,
can't give away
yeah.
40 T-shirts.
Yeah. So let's talk about Magic Money Tree.
Let's do that.
So this was co-written by a gentleman from Liverpool, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. A friend of ours called Chris Hopkins.
Yeah, who's a friend of everyone's now.
Friends of everyone's now, because he came to see us at the Cavern Club.
The Cavern Club in
recently.
Liverpool.
So I
That's
met
right.
him in the flesh for the first time.
That's
Lovely
right.
chap.
Yes.
Writes lots of songs, yeah, and he had these great ideas. During lockdown, Al was communicating with him and Chris sent him over some ideas. Al added to them and then sent them on to me, and I added a couple of little things in there as well. And before we knew it, we had a song.
Yeah, it was a relay song. It was a
relay
relay song.
song,
We don't
yeah.
often write relay songs,
We
do we?
don't.
And there were some rules to this game.
There were.
There were
What
some
they?
rules. That's a very good question. They weren't very strict rules, and I'm sure we caved in on some of those rules. But the rule was that actually none of us had a say in what the other person wrote.
Yeah, that
So,
was it.
so yeah, even though you were coming and going, what sort of thing should it be? And I'm going, it doesn't matter. Whatever you think should come next, that's what should come next.
Yeah,
And then Chris came
yeah.
back and went, what do I follow that with? And I said, whatever you think should come next.
Yeah.
Let us not influence you in any way. And then Chris sent his through, and we all went, wow. That's gone completely somewhere else sideways. He changed the key and everything. And we go, how are we gonna make that fit? But we did make it fit, and it fitted very well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it happened. So Chris Hopkins is someone that we'll talk with Chris about this, but that I worked with on a few of his albums, and we just stayed in touch through everything. So. I was going to say something. I can't remember what it was. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I was going to say. Chris Hopkins. I did a few albums with him, but under the name of Exhibit 1. So now Chris Hopkins has entered mythology under Chris Hopkins, a.k.a. Exhibit 1. But he's going to tell us more about that. But in the meantime, I am going to find you a little film, and you can hear some of Chris's stuff. And I hope you like it, because we love it. We love it. I think he's really different, and he's really got a sound completely of his own. I only need to hear about 2 bars or something to go, that's Chris Hopkins, that is. That's Exhibit 1. So here we go. I'm going to hit the Exhibit 1 video button.
Okay, this is Radio
I haven't seen
666
this.
on the
This will be
tidal wave
interesting.
band.
It's too late to turn back now. It's too late to turn back now.
Rise and shine, the morning's fine, the little birds are on the wing, the bacon's burnt, and it's a beautiful day.
This is your wake-up call. Ambition is free, so grab what you can. Now isn't the time to stall. It's there for the taking, and I've got the plan. We're running out of time. It's time to rise and shine. We're getting left behind. It's too late to turn back now. We're falling far behind now. It's too late to turn back now. It's time to rise and shine now. I'm hopelessly overtired. Hopelessly overtired. Now I'm lying flat upon my back, a paranoid insomniac. Can't sleep. Ceiling shadows, passing cars, light the moon like shooting stars. Please let me sleep. One day, these intrusions, these delusions will send me to the edge of existence. Can you help me? I need assistance. I need something to send me to sleep. All the things that you created late at night and single-handed, making lists and organizing all those gifts so enterprising. Did nobody ever tell you you're a star? But even a bright star will soon decline, and sometimes the fastest won't reach the line. You only got so far, but when it comes to stars, only the brightest will always shine. And
Well, we're not going to give him applause yet because he's not quite with us. You'll hear the phone ring any second now because he's just about to call us. What did you think of them? You didn't know a lot of
Really
those, did you?
good.
It's
Really
great,
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of love that expansive kind of sound that he kind of has on everything. It's just, oh, there he is now. There he is now. So this is via Skype, so we hope the technology works, but we're giving it a go now. Chris Hopkins.
Hello, is this Songs of Praise?
This is Songs in Praise of Chris Hopkins.
Yes,
This is.
that's what I like
is.
it.
That's
How
what
are you
it is.
guys?
Well, we thoroughly enjoyed listening to this, a little bit of those. I can't give you a round of applause at the moment, sorry, because I'm on the wrong screen, because I've got a
that's all right,
video
I'm used
queued
to
up that we're going to have a listen to in a second. So apologies about that, but we'll give you some applause later when I get back to the other. Oh, we can do it. Live applause. There we go. Live applause. That hardly ever happens. Hardly ever happens. I mean, I got a couple of questions for you, but just before we do that, at the very opening of that video sequence was an old friend of mine, of ours, called Boyd Clack, who any Welsh people will know that he is the guy who wrote Satellite City and High Hopes. He was a policeman in High Hopes. What was Sergeant Ball, wasn't it? Sergeant Ball in High Hopes, he was. And Satellite City, of course, that was just
Satellite City was brilliant. I used to love Satellite City.
Off-the-wall series of
Quality writing.
Yeah, but Boyd's also a good songwriter, but because I had that little connection with him, you and I were talking, Chris, weren't we? And we went, it'd be great to get Boyd on the beginning of this. So that's what we did. Hello, the birds are on the wing, it's beautiful, bacon's burnt, it's a beautiful day. Something
It's
like
brilliant,
that. Anyway.
isn't it? It just sets up the song, really.
It does, yeah, that's right. That's right. So
In his inimitable style, as
yeah.
they say.
And that was actually on. Oh no, it wasn't on the first album, was it? Let's give us a bit of
the second
history,
one.
Chris. Let's give us a bit of history, Chris. Where's the
good,
history
okay.
of You and I?
Yeah. Well, I kind of wandered up to Shabbey Road one day in the halcyon days of 2005, something like that.
2005. Blimey, that's a long time ago, isn't it?
That's a long time ago, and I was looking for a studio to. I had some demos, and I wanted to expand them and make them a bit more polished than what I could do at home. Unfortunately for you, it was your door I knocked on.
Well, as you know, I kind of loved every minute of it, and I still actually really like that first album, even though I know.
I have this hazy memory of me and you mixing till about 1 o'clock in the morning when we were like doing the final mixes, and
Yeah.
there were lots of bottles of wine and percolated coffee going around, and
Yeah, it's always clean living here. Tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was under a band name, wasn't it? Under a band name of Exhibit
under Exhibit
1.
1, yeah.
And who were the members of Exhibit 1?
Well, my wife Rachel was playing bass
Yeah.
in the initial stages.
Yeah.
She's more of a she doesn't enjoy recording. If you remember, Al, when we were doing the
Yeah.
album, she'd do her bit and then she'd bugger off shopping or something. And so she's more into the live situation.
Yeah.
And I hate live performance, so we were a doomed band from the start.
Yeah. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. And we brought a drummer in, we brought a young mate of mine called Chris in.
Chris Jones, yeah.
Chris Jones, who's a fantastic drummer, and we cut the rhythms, all the rhythm section tracks, I think mainly with you playing acoustic.
That's it.
Rach on bass and Chris on
I had a
drums.
screaming cold, if you remember, so we couldn't keep any of the vocal takes.
Yeah. Yeah, but I kind of think you always intended them to be guides anyway.
Yeah. But there's always that hope, isn't there, that you'll just nail it
Get
during the
perfect
take,
one.
and it just wasn't going to happen. So.
And then it wasn't like the regular thing where you recorded. We did all of the overdubs here. It wasn't that, was it? Because you had a studio
No,
at
it was
home.
done on it was done very much on a shoestring. So
Yeah.
I took the backing tracks home, or like a roughly mixed version of the backing track, and kind of did all the overdubs at home.
And there were a lot of overdubs as well. I kind
There
of
was a lot,
remember
yeah.
you came back in with, for every song, like 5, 6 guitars, same amount of keyboards, sometimes just playing odd little lines, and you had a really clear idea of where every one of those lines was going to go.
I knew where it was going to go, but I didn't know how it was all going to fit when you put it together. And this was like, for me anyway, this was like pre-computer days.
Yeah.
I was still working on hardware equipment. You know,
Oh, were you? I didn't realise that.
I think I had a 16-track Fostex, I
Right.
think, at the time.
Yeah.
And so I was doing everything on that. And the problem being is that I was recording the tracks from that onto a CD for you to bring up to the studio. Yeah. But of course, like when you haven't got a computer, nothing starts at zero, so you were having to like
manually sync them up,
work out where the start of all of these tracks were.
Those were the days, weren't they?
It became quite a maze, really, and quite a puzzle for everyone. But we got there in the end, didn't we?
Sorry, was that analog or digital Fostex? Was it a?
It was a digital Fostex.
It was digital, but, okay.
But then I wasn't using digital cables. I was using like analog cables, so it was analog anyway. By the time it got onto the CD.
Yeah, but what I was thinking.
By the time it came to you, it had all sorts of problems
Getting
with it.
very technical, aren't we? I hope you're following all this, analog and digital.
But what I mean is, if it had been tape, they wouldn't have stayed in time either. We would have started them up, and then we would have had to resync.
We did at least have that on our side.
All you had to do was find the right start point. Well, that's easy peasy for people like us, isn't it? We can do that. Yeah, we can do that. And so, yeah, we did that whole album like that. You did all your vocals at home. You had some of the tricks that I used here. I think you went back home and went, I'm going to do that at home, I am.
Yeah. It was like, it was like baptism by fire.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, I went straight home and got my first incarnation of Cakewalk, you know, which you use.
That's it, and that's when it happened. In between this project, before we got to the end of the project, you went digital and you bought some of the plugins that I had because I was using.
Yeah, I just gave up on hardware at that point. I thought, this is easier.
And then the second album. By the time you did the second album, you'd moved up to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Which is where you are now. But you're not from Liverpool originally, are you? Where are you from?
I'm from the Valleys, mate.
Valleys, boy.
Yeah. No, my wife's a Scouser, so I ended up in Liverpool. But Valleys boy.
Yeah.
And we met Chris at the Cavern. Us other types in the band. We hadn't met him before, but he was there at the Cavern. Fantastic.
That was a great gig, a great evening.
It was good, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
So I think you're on something like your fourth album now, or something, aren't you? Something like that. Anyway.
Well, working on it, but I don't really think of it in terms of albums because, as I said to you the other day, I've got this this problem with songs where I never class it as being finished.
Yeah, I know, because that's a discussion we have all the time, isn't it?
A song is never finished; it's just merely abandoned.
I know, because I keep saying you need to release it, let it go,
yeah,
leave it where it is. It's finished.
I know, but I just enjoy the process so much. And the thing is, I've put out a couple of things in the past where I've been too quick putting it out, and then it's sort of slow really. About a year later, then I come up with this great, middle section for it.
Just making a new song.
It's already out,
So anyway, let's move forward. And then you and I were talking one night just after lockdown had started, and you and I were talking on Messenger. I can't even remember what we were talking about, and I can't even remember who put forward the idea of why doesn't one person write a song and the other one pick it up. Do you remember, was it you or me?
I think we both arrived at that suggestion together, really.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think we were talking about, because you were, wasn't James doing stuff with some songwriters down the studio? And
well, at that point, no. At that point, everything had stopped. I think we might have
about he had done it recently, hadn't he?
Yeah, we might have done some co-writes. I think we might have done the co-writes with Gavin.
Oh yeah,
Gavin.
And I think you'd mentioned me doing that with James at some point.
Yeah.
And I was like, next time I'm down in Wales, and then this kind of happened.
Yeah. And so I said, well, why don't we get James involved in this? And so I think we started the next day. I can't remember whether I sent you the beginning of Magic Money Tree or you sent me the beginning of This Is a New Low. It was one of the two.
You sent me the bit that you had, the funky bit.
Magic Money Tree, which is the first bit of it.
Yeah.
It's only the first bit of it because the first bit we wrote.
Yeah.
So then it became, it turned into this monster. We had all these different bits, and you were sending different bits, James was sending different bits, and I was trying to figure out how to put them together. And we had various different ways.
I heard your bit first, the main section, the funky bit, and then as soon as it came through, and I listened to it, I listened to it a couple of times to get the vibe of it, of everything, and I thought to myself, I've got a few things that I could send through, but none of it fits with this. So I was like really worried then, and and I sort of came back to you and I said, well, I think I've got something that I can send you, but I don't think it'll work with this, because it's so completely and utterly different. And I think you said, I don't care, just send it over. just do a demo and send it over.
It sounds like me.
Yeah. So I did, and if you remember, I sent it. My demo was 2 keys lower than what you eventually used.
Yeah, I'm going to play that in a second, because I've got not only that, but when we were doing it, I went, okay, now we need video, and you're going, but I haven't even got a smartphone. I haven't got a green screen, and I'm going, well, peg a towel up on your line. And take some picture of that, and we'll turn that into green screen. If I remember though, you were only just situated in, and sometimes your arms went out of it, so it was a bit of a.
To be fair though, mate, I'm not an actor, am I? So.
Well, I don't know. I think we should let people judge for themselves whether you're an actor or not, because I have a piece of film here with you. Giving Popeye a run for his money. I will say that as a seafaring captain with your lyrics, we're lost.
Well, I'm related to Popeye,
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you know?
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, there you go. Now you do.
But I could have.
He's my great-great-grandfather.
So I'm going to just find approximately where this section is. I reckon it's going to be around about there. I'm going to switch the main screen on, and then we're going to give them your performance of the life. This is the Oscar-winning performance from Chris Hopkins, and this might be the point where you get a round of applause at the end of it. Oh. We'll see. Anyway, I reckon we're going to be around about here somewhere, and we'll find out.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
Down the line, our wires got crossed. Shipwrecked, tossed around by storms in overdrive. Punished for the crime of being alive. Like a ship without sails, off the grid and off the scale, not by chance and all by force, hopelessly lost and way off course, hopelessly lost and way off
course. It's not on anyway, so now I think the round of applause, well deserved for that. What a sensational bit of acting, Chris.
Yeah, I'm not waiting for the invite to the Oscars, so don't worry.
I don't know. I think it'll be Heritage Oscars. They'll go. Do you know that performance?
You know what? I think that all the applause should go to the ship, really, because in the midst of that storm, that ship, in true tribute to the timber that was used, it stayed upright.
Yeah. Well, it stayed upright for a little while. Did it still stay upright after the big wave? I can't remember. It looked like
don't know.
It went over to me. I thought that was it. It went over.
It might have done, but I think it's sort of like got back up again, and
Yeah.
I think it's currently working in the Thames these days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So yeah, that was kind of the story of how that Magic Money Tree, how that came about, and that was the very beginning of Cartoon World. That song,
Yeah.
and This Is a New Low, was the very beginning of it, and it was like after a little bit of time, we thought, okay, we'll kind of try and tie these to the cartoons that are coming up, and it'll all of a sudden became a concept. But it wasn't ever intended to be that from the beginning. It just became that in the end. But it's partly because you, Chris. It's your fault.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Well, I'm really glad how it's all turned out there. I mean, it's from little acorns, as they say.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hey, while you're there, Chris, do you reckon could you read us the quiz?
Does that mean that I'm to blame for your jacket?
Indirectly, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we expect you to be wearing one next time we see you. Yeah, no excuses. You'll look great walking down the street in Liverpool. You won't get beaten up at all.
Not at all.
Oh,
no.
dirty me.
So yeah, how do you fancy reading us out the quiz question? Give us a second though, because I'm going to put it back up on screen so that the good people can
Okay.
can just look at what it is. So yeah, go for it around about now, mate.
Okay, so the question is, in the lyrics for Magic Money Tree, where was James Warren's fortune hidden?
Where was it hidden? Well, there we are. Oof. We've had a few answers so far, and we're not going to tell you whether you're right or not. But,
Yeah. I'd like to know where it was hidden.
I would as well. I'm still
Yeah.
looking for it.
Yeah. Well, afterwards we're gonna go on a treasure hunt for it, and we'll see if we can find it, and then we're gonna go out in a pub crawl.
Oh yeah.
You didn't leave her in the cabin, did you?
No, I don't think so.
Because I can tell you this: if you did, then it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great gig, though. I did love
It
that
was a
gig.
brilliant gig.
Haven't talked about great gigs. We had a great gig at the 100 Club the other day.
Oh yeah.
It was really, really good. It was lovely. We might. I'm trying to think of. I haven't got a clip from there, and the reason we haven't got clips from there is we have got some film, but I'm waiting for the techie at the 100 Club to send me the files from the desk because I left without the memory sticks. My fault, not his fault. So as soon as he gets that, I'll put a couple of videos together, but I just don't want to put it out with kind of crappy sound, even though you can hear the audience going, well, everybody gotta learn sometime in the background, which is quite entertaining. Yeah, there we are. Chris, I think unless we've got something else to talk about, I think your work on this live stream is done. Unless you've got anything else burning you want to say, anything you want to promote.
No, that's about as they say in if I can go with the cartoon theme. That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. Yeah.
Hey, da da da. So I'm going to leave you with. We're going to leave you with. This is a scoop. This is because this is a new second verse that Chris had already written ages ago, but we only used the one verse in the original. However, there is a good possibility, and I can say no more about this at the moment, but there is a good possibility there will be an extended version of Magic Money Tree, which will incorporate this second verse that Chris wrote. And so this is a bit of a scoop. I am going to play you the second verse now, and we're going to say thank you, Chris, and
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
see you
Chris.
soon.
See you
Bye.
soon.
Yeah. See you soon.
This is it.
We lost our minds elsewhere. We found out to our cost. We sink in. The vortex sucks us in and spins us around. And when the twig snaps, nobody hears the sound. Like a ship without sails, off the grid and off the scale, the light of the world fade out of sight, and only the stars are with us tonight. Only the stars are with us tonight. We lost. We lost.
We've been singing along to that in here.
We have.
We lost.
Somewhere deep inside our wise got crossed.
There we are. So yeah, that's a new second verse. Obviously, we do a little bit of work on it with integrating it into kind of what we've got. But we may leave some of that instrumentation because that's quite different than the instrumentation we have on the first verse, isn't it? We'll see how we can, what and how and why and where and how can we work that in somehow. And also, when Chris sent that through to us a couple of days ago, and he went, do you know, I still don't think I've got the key right. I still don't think I've gone like too high or too low or whatever. Well, what you've done is instead of taking it down to E minor, you've taken it down to E flat minor. So I think you've gone one step where you needed to go two steps. But we'll see what we can do with this end, and if not, we'll be back to you. So, moving on. What have we got now? Let's have a look at this thing. Just the regular thing. If you've just joined us, don't forget to subscribe.
That was easy.
Smash the subscribe button. And if you want to ask us anything, nip across. Well, you can obviously do it here in chat, and we do have a question that we'll kind of try and answer in a second. You can go to thekorgis.com. Okay, that's thekorgis.com. And in the contact section, there's a little button that says Ask Us Something. And you can just ask us anything. Go straight through to our email, and either James, John, or myself will answer it. So anything you want to know, please fire away, or any burning questions that you've had. That was the title of one of your own, wasn't it?
Sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was. So, do we have...
We have a couple of questions, but we also have a statement.
Oh.
From Ian Walters.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's for Chris. And the message is that Big Star should be released as a single. When I bought the Korgis' first album, I predicted that I Just Can't Help It would be a single, which it was in beautifully remixed form. Oh. So I don't know whether Ian thinks there's a track on Cartoon World called Big Star.
Or whether it's Chris's.
Or it's Chris's.
Or was it original demo called Big Star?
Don't remember that title.
Yeah, I mean...
It must be one of Chris's songs.
Ian, enlighten us. What is Big Star? Unless it's referring to James, who, of course, is a big star. Of course, a big star. Twinkle, bloody twinkle, that's all I can say.
Anyway, we do have a few questions.
Yeah, go on then.
What are they?
First one from Gary Twitchett.
Yes.
Gary. Hello, Gary.
For James.
Yeah.
The song Three-Legged Table is in 3 movements. Were these separate songs joined together, or was it written that way purposely?
It was written that way purposely. This refers to a song on the very first Stackridge album from 1971. Woo! And in those days, I was very keen on writing songs with different sections, completely unrelated sections. And so that was an example of that. I wanted to have a song where you didn't know what was going to come next, and I wrote it purposely like that.
On to the next.
Yeah.
This is from Ingo in Germany.
Ah, Ingo.
Yeah. Why didn't you use the additional verse in the original version of Everybody's Got to Learn Sometime, instead of repeating the first verse 3 times, which is very unusual?
I'll tell you why. Because our record label at the time didn't think the second verse of lyrics sounded very cool or magical. They thought that the original first verse said it all, and it just flowed nicely and everything. They thought the second verse that I came up with, which was an afterthought on my part, I have to admit, the second verse sounded a bit clunky as far as they were concerned, and they were worried that we might lose a bit of airplay, people might lose interest. So they said, just keep the demo version of the song, just sing that one verse, make it like a sort of Japanese haiku type thing, you know, just a few words that say it all.
Can't have a 10-line haiku, can you?
That's right. So there we go. That's why. That's why.
It's not a haiku anymore.
That's so true. Okay, another from Gary.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm dying to know, was James's song I Want to Remember a tribute to John Lennon?
Yes, it was. This refers to a song on an album I made called Burning Questions.
Oh, we were just talking about burning questions, weren't we?
Yeah, 1980 something, 86 or something like that. And the last song on the album was called I Want to Remember. And it was all about, yes, that fateful murder of my hero, John Lennon. You're right, it's about John Lennon. I want to remember.
Done. Well done.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Red Eddie would like to know, is James Warren's suit the magic money tree in print?
Could be, couldn't it?
It could be. It should be.
It's a jungle of magic money trees. That's
It is, isn't it?
It
Yes.
is. With odd flamingos. Are they
Yeah.
flamingos? Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What flamingos are doing in the jungle, I don't know. But maybe they're fronds. Maybe it's not. They're not trees. They're fronds. So it could be.
Could be.
In fact, I would say a tentative yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
We'll
Red
say
Eddie,
yes.
we'll say yes, because the Korgis like to say yes. We do. Red Eddie came along to our 100 Club gig, and because her and I do some recording, and she often does gigs with him, she decided that she would dress up dummies with masks of me on the dummies, and she called herself Red Eddie and the Al Steels. And she took a load of these masks along to the 100 Club and proceeded to give them out to the audience. So as I'm looking out, I'm seeing lots of people dancing with my face, which was quite surreal. And thank you for that. I'm not sure when that will ever happen again, but it was quite surreal. So talking about the 100 Club, shall I just play a little bit of film that I've got? And the reason for this is because not a lot of people know this. Not a lot of people know this. But at the 100 Club, we had a deaf drummer because Paul Smith, our drummer, caught COVID. And then he had an accident after causing COVID and ended up in hospital. So he had a black eye, blood loss, and COVID. And so he wasn't able to do the gig, sadly. So very sorry, Paul, that you couldn't be there. But our lovely deaf Gary
Bentley.
Gary Bentley, indeed, filled in brilliant style. And just to show you how brilliant he is, here's his first rehearsal of Magic Money Tree. And you'll see how spot on he is. And even when it gets to the end and he goes, I just followed everyone else, he was more right than I was because I messed up the end in the rehearsal and he got it right. So I'm going to find you this here. Have a little listen to this. Okay, go.
So when is it going to come in?
Sooner.
After 4 bars or 2 bars?
But see, there's the trunk plate that's there. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And like I was playing the wrong part.
Well, it is called Magic Money Tree.
Are we back on?
Well, I don't know. I kind of stopped following it again because I.
Well, that was interesting, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's how it really happens in the studio. We make lots of cock-ups and then we get it right on the gig.
Can I just say, I must apologise for you guys not being able to see Johnny Baker there. He had his back towards us, didn't he, for the whole session, unfortunately. That was a shame, because he sings that nice middle sequence, doesn't he? But there we go. Yeah. It was good to see it, wasn't it? And Gary Bentley on drums. Fantastic.
We've got another question.
Oh, another question.
As I say, this is a memory question.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you'll remember this.
I have no memory, but...
Well, in that case, that's answered that.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Okay, and the question is from Paul G.
Yeah.
When I first saw Stackridge at Leeds University in 1972,
Oh my God.
72.
James said, if anyone's interested, this is the third engagement we played today. He wonders if you can remember that.
Bloody hell. Now, 1972, does that make it 50 years ago? Because we're now in 2022.
I think that could. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, young man, but my memory, it just doesn't go back that far. I'm so sorry. 3 engagements in one day?
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it? But I have no idea what they were. Sorry.
I mean,
Perhaps someone else who was there would
Perhaps
know.
someone else. I bet there's a few people who would know.
Yeah.
I bet Aid McCraw would know, wouldn't
Yeah.
he? He would know because he'll have it down in a little notebook somewhere. Yeah. That's right. Mate, if you'd asked him what he'd done earlier today, you'd be in with a fighting chance. You would. But 1972, tiny bit too far, I reckon.
Oh, yeah.
Tiny bit too far. I'm going to stick a picture up on a screen. This, as you know, always a sunny day when you're living above the clouds. The Korgis and Joe Matera. This is.
There's Joe Matera at
There
the
he
bottom
is down
there.
the bottom. Yeah.
That's Joe. He's a rock god.
Yeah, he is a rock god.
Yeah.
Yeah. We try to be rock gods, but he's actually a rock god.
Yeah.
So this is our single. It is now on pre-release. It's on pre-release on the website, so you can go and grab a copy of it. And I think we said this last time. It isn't just a download that you get with us, because we hate that. The idea, you got some file that exists in the middle of nowhere? No. Download the paper parts. You can make yourself a little CD cover. You can burn yourself a CD. If anyone wants a WAV file, give us a shout. We'll send you a WAV file of it. If anyone's 24-bit, we'll send you a 24-bit version of it for the audio files out there.
What's that?
24. It's big. It's bigger.
It's big.
It's
If you want a
bigger
big
and it's
version,
betterer. That's
let
what
us
it is.
know.
And also we have a whole kind of fold-out poster that you can fold up and put inside the single cover, and so you can make yourself a proper single like what they used to have in the old days.
Yeah, fantastic,
In
isn't it?
1970. Yeah. So I was going to go, but I was leaving that up on the screen so that they could just marvel at and go, how good looking are those guys above the screen? But look at Joe, he outclasses them all at the bottom there.
He does.
So there we are. That is our new single. It's out for a release. You can't quite hear it yet. We might play you a little snippet of it next week, I think. And then it's released on March the 4th. So maybe that is a Friday. Maybe on the show on the Thursday before, we'll have done a little Zoom call with Joe, and we'll be talking all about the single and how we did it and all of that sort of stuff. But in the meantime, we've had a load of reviews from DJs, people that are going to play the song and stuff. And it's not just DJs. This is Tom Werman, who's the producer of Cheap Trick, Poison and Motley Crue. And this is what he had to say. He said, very catchy tune, great harmonies, good loping feel, rich vocals. Good luck with it. I do get just a little Beach Boys vibe, but I actually hear more of an association sound. I don't know the association. I had one big hit, didn't I? Yeah. And that was from Tom Verman. Well done. Thank you so much for that. That's because he's a bit of a hero. Here's the next one. This is Mick Middles, who's a rock author. Always a sunny day sounds like a hit song to me. Utterly beautiful and perfect for our coming spring. He's in Australia. No, we got spring here, haven't we? Yeah, he must be here. He's here then. Okay. Lovely, lovely song with cool pop sensibility. Reminds me of those great early 70s pop songs that just dropped into your head and soundtracked your young life.
Gosh.
Cool to revisit that feel. It's a hit record.
Oh, gosh, if only that were true.
And then Russell Morris, Australian music legend, and he is, because when I was out in Australia, because I was born in Australia, when I was in Australia, there was a huge hit called The Real Thing, and it had this big psychedelic middle bit, one of the first times that they used flanging in the middle of the song. A brilliant song, and so he is a bit of a star. It says, mate, don't be surprised. Oh, so I do it in an Australian accent. Mate, don't be surprised if that turns out to be a big hit. It has the Korgis stamp, but at the same time, different.
There you go, mate.
Russell Morris, Australian
Always a
music
funny
legend.
day.
That's it. And so then the next guy is James Perrott, who's a mastering engineer for Cherry Red Records. And he said, it sounds excellent. I love the way it sounds light and summery until you actually listen to the lyrics when you realize there's another side too.
Oh.
And then the last review is Warren Kurtz. We were actually going to do an interview with Warren Kurtz until he realized that Joe Matera had actually covered everything he wanted to cover. So he used the Joe Matera Zoom interview that James did a couple of months ago. And so he said, wow, I love this pop rock song. I love this pop rock sound, which would fit in perfectly with some of the songs on Cartoon World, including the title song, Cartoon World. A touch of Robin Gibb and the Raspberries. This is definitely a style I love.
God.
So there, people only got good things to say about it.
There,
so
yeah.
rush over and buy that pre-release now. That's all I can say.
That was easy.
That's all I can say. There we go. So we're excited about it. We love this song. And the more I hear it, it's like when the chorus comes on, I go, oh, jeez, it just sounds like it should be a kind of summer hit, I think. It sounds that chorus sounds very summery.
It's going to be big in Tasmania. It really is.
It'll be the middle
I've
of
got a
winter
feeling.
there when it's our summer. There'll
I've
be
got a
6
feeling.
foot of snow.
I've got a feeling.
Tasmania.
Deep inside. Oh, yeah.
So I think we've almost got to the end, but we can't go without giving the answer to our quiz question.
Just before doing that,
Oh, okay. So Nigel's got something
just a
else.
few things.
Just a few things.
Yeah, this is from Gary Twitchett. Question for Al.
Okay.
Oh.
I listened to a couple of songs from your solo album.
Oh, my solo album.
Could you please plug it on the live stream?
Okay.
Gosh.
Well, we could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. So Gary, what songs would you recommend? What were your faves from it? And we might actually we'll pick one of them or something like that and have a little look at it.
Tell the viewers the title of this album.
The title of my album?
Yes.
The title of my album is called Coming Up From Down Under. Or I'll say that with an Australian accent because it is based in Australia. Coming Up From Down Under. And it's actually about Australian soap operas. The chorus goes, coming up from down under, you asked for my blessing, I gave you my curse. Coming up from down under, jelly gone bad and just about to get worse.
Gosh.
So there. So that's all about soap operas. And there's a second verse talks about how he wants to go down to the beach and throw all the TVs into the sea. Which is about how I felt when I was watching those Australian soaps as well. So yeah, the curse of Sons and Daughters, Neighbours, and there was one more as well, wasn't there? Home and Away. That was it. That was it.
Okay, just a few statements. Terra Titanic, great name. I saw Stackridge on the final bow tour at the Robin 2 Bilston in 2015.
Oh, yes.
You guys were brilliant.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
They've been practicing a lot since then. haven't
Yeah,
they? At
we
the very
have,
end of the tour,
yeah.
they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, 18 years of practicing.
Yeah.
We got there in the end.
And I've got to say that 2009 album of Victory for Common Sense was just fantastic album. I play that often. I was playing that to Nigel on the way back from one of our gigs, and he was like, "This is really good. This is really good. I didn't realise it was so good." There we are. So yeah, love that. Which is why we always play Lost and Found. Love that song. Always play Lost and Found on the gigs. And
Gary says, second track out.
second track, Driving. Yeah.
Great track.
Yeah, we might play that. I've got a little video for that. It's not a complicated video. It's me driving.
Yeah, says it all.
It says it all. Yeah.
And
Yeah, shadows going past and everything. Very atmospheric.
final thing before you get to the competition, Elaine Brokenshaw. Really looking forward to hearing the new track live at the Concord Club in April.
I think actually we should do it. I think it will have been out a while and we'd be pushing it everywhere. And I think, we definitely should do it. It's a song that isn't impossible to do live. It's easy enough to do live once we figure out those bleeding harmonies.
Yeah.
So we all went, wow, How's that going?
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, I think it's a goodie. It'll be a goodie. It'll be a nice summery vibe. Just as spring hits, the daffodils are out. You know. Yes, we'd love to play it at the Concord Club. That's a promise.
That's it, really.
Anything else? No? Okay. There we are. Well, listen, it's just for us to sign off. Big thanks to Chris Hopkins from Liverpool.
Competition?
Yeah, I'm going to do the I'm going to do the competition now. But a big thanks to Chris Hopkins from Liverpool. Thank you to James for coming on, and we are going to give you the competition winner. But I am just going to grab that quiz question up on the screen again. Here we go. In the lyrics for Magic Money Tree, where was James Warren's fortune hidden? Where was it hidden? Well, any fool would know, wouldn't they? Where was it hidden?
In a poor man's chest?
In a dead man's chest.
In
I
a
think
dead
about it.
man's
Dead
chest.
man's chest, yes.
That's
yes.
the answer.
Yeah, poor man's chest was probably the lyrics you sang at the 100 Club.
Yeah. Yes, it probably
In
was.
a dead man's chest. And Nige, do we have a winner?
You do. And what's a surprise winner? It's Elaine Brogan.
It's the
Elaine.
second time Elaine has won, even though with the David Bowie question, she did try very, 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 very hard.
Oh, yes.
With every David Bowie song known to man. But this David Bowie song was not known to woman, which is why she couldn't get it. Congrats, Elaine.
Congratulations.
As always, if you go, I don't wear t-shirts because she's quite posh, isn't she, Elaine? She is quite posh. You might go. In fact, you and Elaine Brokenshaw go back quite a long way, don't you?
Probably, yes. If I had a memory, I could tell you.
Well, she's in the same class as you at school.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, in infant
He
school.
remembers now.
Infants or junior school, in fact. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
She has sent a picture. We'll have to dig the
That's
picture up.
even more than 50 years ago. It's about 60 years ago. My God.
Yeah.
I'm so old.
Yeah, she sent through a picture and it was like, I'm going, so where's James in this? And she went third from the back. And so I went, oh, yeah, it is, it is. I mean, even then, he still had the suit on and everything. Yeah. There we are. So, well done. Well done. And let us know what you want,
Money?
I mean, it might be that you have a T-shirt and you want one for Dave. Who knows? You decide. You let us know what you would like.
Size.
And size, yeah, and size. But I'm sure she's going to come back and she's going to tell us exactly what she wants, and we'll be for it if we don't give it to her.
Indeed.
So there. Okay, so we are going to sign out with. That's not what I'm going to do. That's a 40 Magic Tree verse. We're going to sign out with the proper Magic Money Tree video, but I think I haven't actually remembered to put it. Oh, I tell you what, I can find it. I can because I have it on here somewhere. So Magic Money Tree.
We'll get there.
We will get there.
Well worth watching.
Slightly faster than British Rail. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yes.
Quicker.
Yes.
So here we are. Here is
Magic
Money
Money
Tree
Tree
from Kartoon World, the full video. And thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.
Thank you. See you next time. Bye.